Have you ever looked back at a situation and realized that someone was controlling your decisions without you even noticing it? Maybe it was a friend who only called when they needed something, maybe it was a coworker who somehow convinced you to take on extra work, or maybe it was someone who always managed to make you feel guilty whenever you tried to put yourself first. And the strange thing is that manipulation rarely feels like manipulation while it's happening, because if it did, most people would see it immediately and walk away. The reality is that manipulation works because it hides behind normal human emotions. It hides behind kindness, guilt, fear, approval, and sometimes even love, which is why intelligent people fall for it just as often as everyone else. Many people assume manipulators are incredibly clever, but often they're simply taking advantage of patterns that already exist inside other people. If someone desperately wants to be liked, approval becomes a tool. If someone is terrified of conflict, guilt becomes a tool. If someone constantly puts other people's needs above their own, pressure becomes a tool. One of the easiest ways to become harder to manipulate is to stop needing everyone to agree with you. The moment your self-worth depends on other people's opinions, you hand them a piece of control over your life. Suddenly criticism feels unbearable, disagreement feels like rejection, and approval feels like a reward. The less you depend on validation from other people, the less influence they have over your decisions, because manipulation becomes much harder when there is nothing important for it to grab onto. Another important thing to understand is that manipulation grows stronger when emotions become stronger. Think about how many bad decisions people make when they're angry, afraid, lonely, excited, or guilty. Strong emotions create urgency, and urgency often shuts down critical thinking. That's why manipulative people love pressure. They want quick decisions, immediate reactions, and emotional responses, because the longer you think, the weaker their influence becomes. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Simply pause, take a step back, and give yourself time to think. It's also important to stop judging people by their words and start paying attention to their patterns. Anyone can make promises, anyone can apologize, anyone can say they care, but patterns reveal the truth. If someone repeatedly ignores your boundaries, repeatedly breaks promises, or repeatedly makes you question yourself, those actions tell you far more than their words ever will. People often get trapped because they're attached to who they hope someone will become instead of paying attention to who that person already is. Learning to say no is another skill that instantly makes manipulation more difficult. Many people feel the need to explain every decision they make. They provide long reasons, detailed excuses, and endless justifications because they want the other person to understand. Unfortunately, manipulators often see those explanations as opportunities to negotiate. Sometimes a simple no is enough. You don't need to defend every boundary you set, and you don't need permission to protect your time, energy, or peace of mind. Perhaps the biggest shift happens when you become comfortable disappointing people. Most people spend years trying to avoid disappointment. They want everyone to be happy with them, everyone to approve of them, everyone to understand them, but that goal is impossible. No matter how kind, generous, or helpful you are, someone will eventually want more than you're willing to give. The moment you accept that not everyone will be happy with your decisions, you become much harder to control because guilt loses much of its power. At the end of the day, becoming harder to manipulate isn't about becoming cold, suspicious, or emotionally closed off. It's about becoming aware. It's about understanding your own weaknesses before someone else uses them against you. It's about recognizing when emotions are clouding your judgment, and it's about having enough self-respect to protect your boundaries even when doing so feels uncomfortable. The people who are hardest to manipulate aren't the strongest people in the room or the smartest people in the room. They're the people who know themselves well enough that nobody else can easily take control of their choices.